Hello, my name is Tong Chee Wai Tallis, and this is my CCR Task 1. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? Today, I will be presenting my PowerPoint presentation on my short film opening sequence, Written in the Stars. Uh, so let's get started. Our film is of the sports genre. It's a sports movie, and obviously, it's about football. It's of grassroots football club that is facing different challenges and how they overcome these challenges. Now, when we talk about sports films, the most cliche and the most obvious thing we think of usually is that the film is uh, an underdog movie. That's the most intriguing plot line, is how does David beat Goliath? How does the underdog beat the top dog, basically? And we'd say a few film comparisons, not just because they're football, but also some sports film comparisons include. Uh, Here we have uh, Bennett Miller's Moneyball, which is probably the most well known out of all references. United by James Strong, which is a Netflix film, stream to TV film. Shaolin Soccer, one of my personal favorites by Stephen Chow. Personally, I am from Hong Kong, and this is why this film of a bunch of underdogs winning a local tournament is really entrenched deep in my heart. And also Mike Bassett, England manager Steve Barron. Personally, my input in this project, I also found the TV show Ted Lasso to be a really big part in our production due to our themes and settings. Not exactly the same. Ted Lasso is a Premier League club. All of these movies, like Mike Bassett, England manager, is managing England. United is talking about great club Manchester United Football Club. Uh, Moneyball is talking straight up a sport. These might not be too similar to our film, which is talk about Leatherhead Football Club, which is a local football club in this one division, two divisions below the actual football pyramid, and so it might be a bit different, but then we took inspiration from a lot of these. And now part three, we could see different how we use camera, sound, editing, and mise en scène to show similar elements. So first off, we can see shot-wise, our manager has a close resemblance to Billy Bean, which Brad Pitt plays in Moneyball. So we ended up positioning the mise en scène and positioning the shot of itself very similarly to the opening sequence of Moneyball, because he's the only character that we have, and we couldn't really plan out what we could have. So this is the best we could do, and just use the cameras to show how important our main character is to how he is the crux of our story. Now this is our media teacher Philip Ward playing our main character of the team's manager. The next slide would show you that a very similar thing we have is that it is an underdog narrative, and we also have flashbacks. So you're looking back at different, uh, for example, Shaolin Soccer, as you can see here. Shaolin Soccer, uh, its opening sequence has a flashback sequence, which a lot of films do to just talk about this narrative story, and also for it being an underdog narrative, as I've said, is a really cliche and really I personally would say is the most popular and the most intriguing story that a sports movie could offer. It offers how to overcome something, how to overcome a challenge, which all of us, all people, our audiences faced every day. Next slide. As you can see, we will be having a dim and sad atmosphere in the opening sequence. Now, why is this? It is because our setting is a football club that's facing challenges nowadays. In recent years, we have seen many different football clubs face the problems of liquidation, face the problems of being ran out of business. Quite a recent example would be BRE FC. Recently, just uh got liquidated and is not a football club anymore. I used to not support, but I used to watch their games when I was a child, and so it's quite not fascinating, but it's quite sad how grassroots football clubs. Well, Bury wasn't even grassroots; they were in the football pyramid, but grassroots football clubs are actually facing a lot of challenges, and the authentic pitch we went to, Leatherhead FC's football pitch, was also, you could see that there are not more stands. All the fans are locals because it's so near our school's premises. A lot of students are actually fans. I actually know quite a few fans that uh, actually support this football club, and so being able to film there, we have to show how sad the situation and the circumstances of the club are. Now, looking at the next shot is talking about our titles. Because it's a sports film, we looked at some other sports films, and we thought about how our font has to be bold and clean and direct, clean cut fonts. Very clear, very concise. Reason being, it first off reflects the sequence's directness. That this is a high concept underdog sports movie. It's about sports. You can see it is written in the stars. It's a sports movie. It's bold. It's clear, in your face type of thing. And for also another thing is that you can see it's our chosen font has really hard edges, not soft but rigid hard edges, to resemble how uh nowadays really sports is still a really masculine topic in society, and how just being more bold, being more hard-edged fonts would really emphasize how our film is a sports movie. Next thing, so we looking at different title tropes that happens in normal title sequences. As you can see, all the title sequences we've done research on usually credits the, well, here I say bigger players, but usually they'll credit first, and or often credit multiple times, the company that's paying to produce the film, the director. As you can see, it says a Dylan Dean film, and sometimes even main actors, actresses will be repeated. If not repeated, then they'll be the first ones, probably have a larger font displayed. Uh, Next, we could see how we challenge those conventions. Even for underdog sports movie, teams are usually well-established pro or college teams. Was This is true, as we saw. Moneyball, it is a Division One, I think, the professional Division One team baseball, but yeah. And for Mike Bassett, England manager of England, one of the best teams one of the best international teams in the sport. Uh, United, it's Manchester United Football Club, which is it is the biggest club in the world. We also have Shaolin Soccer. That's a different story. Not exactly one of the biggest teams, talking about, it's just a ragtag team of people that formed the team. Obviously, we wanted to challenge those conventions, not aside from we wanted to challenge those conventions because we saw that no one really done a film for grassroots football clubs, which is a big issue that we thought we needed to talk about. Is also because it would be very difficult to film at those professional teams. I've mentioned in my blog that we contacted some professional teams, and unfortunately, the time just didn't match up, and we weren't able to film at those facilities and locations. But so this is how we challenged those conventions and how we followed those conventions. Uh, with Mike, as you can see here, Mike Bassett, England manager, Brad Pitt's Moneyball. All these managers are usually middle-aged white men. Now, regarding if this is a good thing and if society should be, the football community or like sports community should be like this or should it be more diverse, that's another story. Of course, there are a lot um, of other managers that are people in the sports community that have spoken out on this problem. But in this instance, we decided to follow some of these conventions because when you see a middle-aged man in a professional or semi-pro sports movie, you know he is clearly not the player. He's the manager, and he's the crux of the film. As you can see here, we've shown our manager, our media teacher Phil, Mike Bassett, England manager, Brad Pitt's character in Moneyball. They're all white, middle-aged white men playing manager characters. Here are some real-life managers: Sean Dyche, currently the manager of Everton Football Club; Gareth Southgate, Phil Parkinson, to managers, also